Well, happy Friday to all of you. I hope you are ready to get in tune with natural, healthy living. Today, I have a special guest who is going to share some incredible insight to help you and your families stay on track this upcoming flu season and throughout the whole year, and some simple practical things you can do to get back in touch with overall wellness. So I'm super excited to introduce you to Shayna Melissa Stockman, who is a RN, a nurse practitioner with over 30 years experience. She is also an international best-selling author, and to tell you the truth, she's one of the few people who are pioneering this innovation that we're seeing happen in the medical industry, including doing things to bring more education online and to make practical knowledge a daily staple in all of our families. So, Shayna, thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always good to talk about healthy, happy living. And this seems to be a topic that both you and
Mhm.
I keep
Yeah.
circling around. But you're doing some pretty cool things most recently when it comes to bringing innovation for individuals to be empowered for their self care. And
Yes.
I'm just curious, like, what even inspired you to go this route? Because it's not quite traditional.
Hmm. I look at it like this. If you keep doing the same thing, getting the same outcomes, you must change something. And we have to take back the power. I myself, when I was in heart failure and had all these autoimmune problems, I knew all the prescriptions in the world were not making me better. And I had seen patients for 30 years go that route. And I knew there had to be something better out there. And you have to be open minded, and realize what's not working and what can I do differently, because you must do something differently to get a different outcome. And maybe that's perhaps why a lot of the doctors are reaching out to me right now, is because they know often the prescriptions are just not enough. They're not attacking the root cause. And we must attack the root cause of the problem to stop the progression and even reverse it.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's beautiful when you start to hear people are opening up to new ideas to
It's about
try even,
time.
yeah, trying old things that have worked and embracing new ideas. And one thing that because I've been following and working for you for quite a while, but one thing that I've heard you talk about a lot that has just captivated my attention is biohacking. Now,
Yes.
what is biohacking?
It's my passion. Well, Liz, I want to give kudos to you because her work is absolutely, absolutely amazing. If you guys have taken my classes, courses, workshops, and you see all the pretty little borders and the boxes and the banners in them, thank you, Liz, for that, because I couldn't do all that without you. Even
Oh
this
gosh,
pretty
my
little
pleasure.
border here and streaming. Thank you. Um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
What is biohacking?
Oh, biohacking changed my life and rocked my world forever. I think a lot of times, um, I always look to get to the root cause, because when we get to the root cause, we can stop the problem from getting worse. We can often reverse it. And when that happens, the symptoms go away. And then when you don't have the symptoms, you don't need the medications to treat the symptoms that aren't there. And then without those meds, then you don't have side effects, adverse reactions, interactions, lethal overdoses, dependencies. So, biohacking is a way to attack the root cause of your problem, to stop the progression, and often it can reverse it. It's like, I think sometimes prescriptions are like putting masking tape on a garden hose. It'll help the symptom, but it's not stopping the cause of the problem. So the underlying problem is still getting worse and worse and worse. Where biohacking is so important, we can actually activate genes and genetic highways in your body. So your own body can do what it used to do and should do, like before you had these problems, right? So it's a way to attack the root cause. The root causes are free radicals, oxidative stress, inflammation, your mitochondria malfunctioning, and your production of your good defenses not being as strong as they used to be. So this biohacking can actually revert that towards your much younger self, like before you had these problems. You're going to rev up production of your own good defenses, antioxidants, reduce inflammation, reduce free radical damage, oxidative stress, build more mitochondria that are required for the cells to live, and detoxify your cells. Those are the causes of a lot of our problems.
Now, one thing that I've heard often, and you just said it, is inflammation. And it seems like inflammation is a key symptom that you see in so many different scenarios of people not
Yeah.
feeling well. And I'm curious because I've heard of things like turmeric. What are some natural things that people can do to reduce or eliminate inflammation in their body? And when they do that, what are some of the benefits?
There are so many different things you can do. One is when your pain comes on, what was the trigger? That's huge. It might have been a heavy lift, not bending at the knees. It might have been certain foods you eat. So, when I have my upcoming classes, courses, and workshops or one on one, I work with you to discover your own personal triggers. I don't want to say stay away from it, might be milk, it might be red meat, it might be cheese. I want to help you discover your triggers so you don't have to stay away from everything and a lot of things you might be enjoying. So I'll help you discover your unique triggers. It might be certain foods. And then there's also certain foods you can use. I call it food
Mhm.
pharmacy, like FARM, food pharmacy. There's certain foods that might trigger your problems, especially if you have autoimmune, like glutens, wheat and bread and pasta. But there's
Mhm.
also certain foods you can use for their medicinal purposes, because that's what we used to do years ago before there were these prescriptions. We used to use food for their natural healing powers. There's a lot of foods that are natural anti-inflammatories, and sometimes you can mix them together, right? Olive oil is one. The omegas from the fish is another. So you can, and so is garlic. So you can cook your fish to get the omegas with the extra virgin olive oil and garlic, three natural anti-inflammatories. You can make a green tea with lemon and throw in some ginger, and that's another natural anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is another anti-inflammatory as well. And so there's foods that can aggravate your symptoms and foods that can alleviate your symptoms. But then there's also biohacking on board. So I like to add all of these together. I help you find your triggers, what foods might aggravate it and what drinks, but also what foods to use for medicinal purposes. And I show you how to biohack so you can reduce that oxidative stress in nearly half, because that's what causes the inflammation. Often when you go to the doctor, they went to medical school to practice medicine, and that's what they know. So they might give you an anti-inflammatory, which is okay. But when you produce your own natural anti-inflammatories within your body, they are so super potent because they're not synthetic. You readily absorb them. Your stomach acids aren't killing them off. So I will show you how with biohacking to rev up production of your own antioxidants that fight that inflammation.
And one thing, like you were just bringing up ginger, one thing that's interesting is when you start to really look at, your body, it changes. Different
Mm.
environments, different experiences, our bodies change. And when I was pregnant with my first son many moons ago, I had 24-hour nausea. It was nonstop morning sickness. And
Ginger.
I tried the Tums, I tried all kinds of things. But what was interesting, what actually helped me, it was ginger. I
Yes.
started following some of these natural um, posts and books and things like that. And I found out they had, what was it, ginger gum. I went to the natural food store and I found some ginger gum. And at the time when I ate it, when I was pregnant, your hormones, everything's different. It tasted really spicy and hot to
Yes.
me. But then after I wasn't pregnant anymore, it didn't taste like that. But it did drastically reduce my nausea so I could function again. So, yeah, I was chewing ginger gum for like the last couple months that I was pregnant. But I think that if people really start to listen to their body and be aware of when changes are happening. Because even when we age, like you go into menopause, right? You're going to have hormonal shifts, all these different things that are happening. And I think if more people started listening to what their body was telling them before they got into disease or different
Mhm.
disorders, it could help in some ways. But you've got to be willing to pay attention. What is your body telling you?
And I have to give a
So,
shout out. There's a ginger tea lady that I recently met. She makes her own ginger teas that she sells.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really good. And one of them, she throws in honey. There's the power in the honey too, as well.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So I know traditionally ginger's been really good for, calming the stomach and things like that. But okay, so I've got to ask you, pressing question, because
Uh-oh.
we are getting ready to go into flu season. It's coming. It's coming if it's not
Oh,
already here. So if I wanted to be more preventative and do
oh,
things to really try to avoid having some downtime. What are some suggestions that you have that are naturally so I'm not turning immediately to all the things you can buy at the store? What should I be doing
ooh.
now?
Number one thing is try to get enough sleep. You ever notice when you're
I need to
running
work on
ragged
that.
and you're not sleeping enough? That's
Yeah.
when your immune system is weakest. So it's definitely important to get sufficient amount of sleep. And also stop stressing. I love the serenity prayer, right? Too many of us worry about things we can't change. Oh my God, is it going to rain tomorrow? You can't control it. Stop worrying about things you cannot control. So the serenity prayer is basically let go of what you have no control over, and don't even stress over it. You can't. So things that help me the most with my immune system is try to get a sufficient amount of sleep. Try not to stress over things you can't change because you can't change them.
That's right.
And so, like, I worry less about what other people think because no matter what you do, somebody's not going to be happy with what you did or what you said. So, you know what? Why worry about it, right? So, sleep, stress less, and definitely biohacking. Because people like, oh, it's flu season. Let me go take some vitamin C's or some zinc. That's okay. There's no problem with that. But the vitamin C's are synthetic, so you're not absorbing most of it. Your stomach acid's killing off some of it. Did you know this, Liz? I don't know if you did. You might from watching my challenges. An antioxidant you take by mouth, like a vitamin C, each one of those molecules can only fight one of the bad free radicals. But an antioxidant that your body makes, each one of those can fight a million of the bad free radicals. So, yes, so an antioxidant you take is 1-to-1 ratio. An antioxidant you make is one fighting a million bad soldiers. So, this is why it's so important to activate your genes because you can rev up production of your own antioxidants, which are so much more potent than a synthetic pill that you're taking. They're even a million times more potent than eating an orange or a blueberry. So it's important to activate your genes to rev up production of your own antioxidants. Because think about it like this: when we were younger, we used to make everything, right? We used to make antioxidants, women used to make their hormones, men make testosterone. Our bodies weren't meant to live this long. So over time, we're making less and less and less of our own defenses. And we're making less antioxidants. And that's when all the diseases set in. Our antioxidant production is going down and the diseases are setting in. You think they're related, right? So revving up the antioxidants, the good defenses, can help you because antioxidants fight oxidative stress, and that's what causes inflammation. Inflammation is the root cause of hundreds of diseases and disorders. Think about everything that ends in an itis means inflammation, right? Tendinitis, everything. They all end in itis, inflammation. So why not reduce that? Reducing oxidative stress will, I'm sorry, reducing oxidative stress. That's what causes inflammation. That's what we need to do. So revving
Now,
up our own antioxidants.
you actually have put together an incredible program, the Get Healthy and Happy with
Yes.
me. And I would love for you to share with people what that's about because this is where you really started getting into like the cutting edge stuff where I feel like when I've gone to a doctor's appointment or even to get, a special exam or a test, that the time that I have with with the medical community that's serving me in each instance, I feel like it's so limited. Like I get 30 seconds for blood pressure,
Mhm.
30 seconds to 3 minutes for questions, and then, an hour wait in the
Mhm.
waiting room. And one
And
of
an
the
hour
things
is not bad for some doctors, actually. That's
I
pretty good
know
for them.
that needs to change. It's the only industry they get away with that. That needs to change. But that's a topic for another day. But what I found fantastic is in this course, Get Healthy and Happy with Me. It's almost like this environment where you're immersed with your personal medical pro that's guiding you through all the
Yes.
steps. And in your particular case, you did a lot of focus on autoimmune, chronic pain, cancer. And I would really love for you to share with the viewers what is your vision of this whole course being rolled out? How do you think that it can help people? And what is your goal with this?
Mm. Ooh, that's a good question. I look at it like this. Like you said, you go to the doctor, you might wait an hour and a half, 3 hours. And
Yeah.
after the medical assistant takes all your information, the doctor most of the time gives you 2 minutes. And you're lucky if you get to ask one or two questions. Maybe with or without food, is this going to keep me up? When do you want to see me back? And that's the whole visit. There's not really any, for the
Sometimes
most
I actually
part.
get more information from my pharmacist
Yes,
about the medication
yes, yes,
than
yes.
a doctor, which is
And part of
interesting.
it, yeah, part of it's not the doctor's fault because I don't want to bash them. They're just
No,
so
not
cut
at
for
all.
time
No, that's
because
not meant as
the
a
yeah,
bash.
yeah, no,
Uh-uh.
no, I know. The insurance companies are paying them less and less, so they have to see more and more patients and their malpractice is going up. So they have to see more
It's
patients to
hard.
get the same reimbursement. So I
Yeah.
understand that. But also they're like, here, take this, twice a day, see you in a month. And that's pretty much the education you get at a typical doctor's office. They're not all like that, but most of them are. So I find with autoimmune, there is so much more to it than just take this pill because there are certain foods they're eating that are causing their problems. If they didn't eat those foods, they don't know what foods not to eat, what drinks are affecting them, how stress is affecting them. There is so much more to it that I find that handing them a prescription is just the masking tape on the garden hose. It's good for now, but it's not getting to the root cause. So their problem is still getting worse and worse. And that's when the patient comes back and the doctor gives them a higher dose. He adds on another pill, a third pill, and now you're getting side effects from all the pills. So he adds on another pill. And it's just a vicious cycle, but none of it is stopping the progression of that disorder. And I know that's what we need to do is stop the progression because if somebody has say MS and they know that's an autoimmune disorder or rheumatoid, they know that they're getting worse and worse and worse. And even with the pills, maybe it'll slow down a little bit, but it's still getting worse. So I find that the course is going to take them through A through Z. I learned so much being in the industry, the medical nursing industry, for over 30 years that I can't condense it, and I will not try to condense it into a 2 minute visit. I want to give them a lot more than just a prescription drug to take. I want to give them all the tools they need. So the course is important because it goes into mindset. We must know that we are worthy, we are deserving. You are worthy of this time. You are worthy to invest in yourself. It goes into mindset. You must believe you can first, and then you put in the time. It goes into what foods might trigger your problems, what drinks might trigger your problems, not just what to stay away from, but what can you use. Hey, why don't you eat more of this instead? Here's healthier drinks for you that'll give you more energy. It goes into natural adaptogens, things you can do to rebuild that gut, things that you can do to lower your cholesterol. It goes into food pharmacy, not only foods that are triggering your problem, but foods that you can use for medicinal purposes. What foods are natural diuretics, natural anti inflammatories? It goes into autoimmune, it goes into a little bit of the people that had problems from the protection or the infection. And it goes into biohacking basics. Why is it so important and what is it about and how do I do it? So it really truly takes them through A through Z in what they need, that they can truly stop the progression, reverse it. And almost all of my clients are able to come off all of their medications, if not 99%, because we attack the root cause.
Now, that's one thing that I really think is incredible is this approach that you're really talking about is it's adjusting our mindset, making simple changes to our diet and daily practices that can have a huge impact
Yes,
on our
yes,
overall wellness. And it is so true with everything in life, Shayna. It starts with our mindset. If we're not willing to grow, adjust, and even come to acceptance with where we're at with whatever, whether this is our health, our business, our financial wellness, you have to acknowledge where you're at and then be willing to
yes,
make changes, because if
yes.
not, it's this vicious cycle of just repeating it over and over or not even being able to get to the root cause. So there's always these different jokes, of like, take this pill, and then as a result, because of that pill, you feel bad, you got to take this pill. But
Yes.
really, what you're saying is, let's shift, come back to find out what the root cause is, and then try to attack it from a natural standpoint, and then
Yes.
infuse other things. So you still do embrace traditional
Yes.
medicine.
Oh, yes, there's a time and a place for everything, and I'm not
Yeah.
opposed if you need an antibiotic to give it to you. But we're so trained to just jump to take a pill for everything, right?
Hmm.
But what happens, like, I don't know, for instance, somebody's got headaches and they'll come in, can I get a pill for my headaches? I'm like, what's causing your headaches? And it turns out their disc in their jaw is out and they keep chewing gum that's aggravating it. What if you just stop chewing gum, right?
Right. Right.
So I yes, there's a time and
Versus
place for
taking
everything.
Motrin and then eventually having stomach
Yes.
problems,
If we get
address
to
what's the root
yeah,
cause.
if we
Yeah.
get to the root cause, a lot of times we might not need the medications. You know what? If somebody is 10 pounds overweight, they drop 10 pounds and they watch their salt a little better, they might not need the blood pressure pill. So I'm not opposed to it if we need it. If they're not going to change their lifestyle changes, then that's fine. You know what? Fine. Here, take your cholesterol pill if you're just going to eat fast food every day, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's a
Mm-hmm.
time and a place. I would rather try this first because with the natural approach, I've never created a dependency, a side effect, an interaction, or a lethal overdose. I'm just saying, lethal
Right.
overdose is one of the biggest killers in
Wow.
America. I mean, it's huge. And also, can I tell you what's
Interesting.
cool about this course? And you already know this, but the
With the
viewers,
Get Healthy and Happy with Me course.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, is well, thank you again, Liz, because Liz did all the recordings and editings for it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh gosh,
There's
it was so much fun. I learned so much and I'm still learning. It was an
thank you.
eye-opener experience, but I think when people sign up for your program, the thing that they're going to love is being able to have all of these modules broke down by different categories, the autoimmune, and then you have incredible content that really walks people through like the basics of eating and your mindset and simple adjustments. But the cool thing is it's practical. It's not like,
Yes,
here, go buy $1,000 worth of these specific kind of foods
yes,
and they have to be organic. You were very
yes,
structured but free, and I love
yes.
that.
Thank you. I think I look at it like this. Often we take directions from somebody who's never been where we want to go. Like the doctor probably
Right.
never had an autoimmune problem, so they really don't know what would work for them. Where I could say, listen, I've been there, done that. I had autoimmune problems. I had the weird rashes, the wheezing, the IBS. I was diagnosed with MS. And I think I can show them from years of trial and error, I can save them a ton of years of time. Like, yes,
So
they
you
could
have
do this
30 years experience
plus
as a
personal
nurse
experience.
and a nurse
Yes,
practitioner, but on top of that, you also have suffered
yes,
from an
yes.
autoimmune. Yeah, it is a little bit different when you have been the patient and the healthcare provider. It's a different perspective.
And
Yeah.
and I know for me, one of the main reasons I did this is I saw all my patients that had been to the rheumatologist for autoimmune. And after getting treated, they were sick more often, they were sick longer, and then they needed more medications from the side effects of the other medications. And then they were getting gastritis and ulcers from the anti-inflammatories. They were getting
Yeah.
bone thinning from the steroids. Then they were breaking bones. They were getting weakened immune system from the autoimmune meds. So now they're sick more often longer. Then the last thing you want to do is give women a medication that's going to make them fat and not tell her that. So the autoimmune meds
That's
make
right.
you
You
heavier.
might make her a little mad.
They make you heavier, and then that raises your sugars, you raises your blood pressure. So now you're on meds for diabetes and hypertension, all to treat the original problem symptoms that are now worse because you started that first prescription. And I was like, no, 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 no. I saw my patients going through that where they were sick longer all the time, breaking bones, afraid to leave their bubble because their immune system was weaker. And I did not want that. And I knew there had to be a better way. So I want to show everyone, like, listen, take direction from someone who's been there, done that, and can show you the way. But I can also expedite your journey. I could take my years of trial and error and say, girl, this is what you need to do. This is how I did it. So that's what I want
I
to do for
love
them.
that.
And
I love
I'm
that.
so thank you. So I think my 30 years of being in the medical field and nursing, and I condense it into days and weeks for them. But also, I think we did a lot of cool things. I put like uh, a lo- all my content is new from scratch. I didn't copy it from anybody else. It's my personal experience, my personal knowledge. We
It is
made
so
beautiful.
good. It is so
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
still
you.
trying to process everything that I learned.
And
And actually you're officially kind of launching it next week, starting
yes,
with your 5-day free
challenge.
challenge,
Yeah.
Natural Healing.
So they're
Um,
going to get a
I'd
sneak peek.
love for you to tell us a little bit
Yeah, yeah,
about that.
yeah. Can I bring up a couple other points about the course too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
please.
the course I'm very proud of because it's broken into 15-minute modules or less that you can do when and wherever you want. So you have replay access to everything. If lunchtime you have a little time, you pop a module in. Your baby's sleeping, you pop a module in. You can't sleep at 3 a.m. So they're broken down into small nuggets, not too much information at once. And they're broken down into sections. So you can start off with mindset. Like you're like, man, I need to work on my mindset. Um, and there's sections on food pharmacy, foods that might trigger your problems, but foods that you can use for medicinal purposes. There's sections on autoimmune. There's sections on gut health, heart, brain, gut triad. So it's broken down into sections that are all labeled and have 15 minutes or shorter modules, but they also have accompanying notes that you can download, print out. You'll have the notes right there. You don't have to stop. But I put it into layman's terms because I think sometimes the doctors talk to you with big terminology to impress you, but then you might not understand what they're saying. So I gave them calls to action. I know everybody's lifestyle is very busy. So I'm not saying grow an organic farm and cook from scratch and spend 3 hours. I want to give you little tiny life hacks, snack hack attacks that you can make quick, easy one pot wonder meals. So I want to save you time. I don't want it to take you more time, but I'm very, very proud of the short modules, the workbook. And then each week, too, I'm going to be
I think
on
that
with them
I've got to
live.
interrupt there really quick. I think that was one of the things that was really cool about your course is it wasn't an hour long video that you've got to make it through. You created these little bite-sized nuggets so people can
Yes.
take what they want, or and sometimes it's about time restraints. We only have so many hours in the
Mm.
day, but if you can grab a 5 minute, 15-minute video here and
Yes.
there, that's how we can make monumental changes. So I thought that was actually really cool how you did that.
Ah,
I liked it.
thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you. And I think some people buy a course and then they might not watch it. But this course, every single week, you also can get on with me where I review the couple of modules you should have looked at. And I highlight and I emphasize key points and maybe give them a call to action. But
So it's like a
also,
telehealth appointment kind of where they can
yeah,
ask you
well,
direct
yes,
questions about their health too.
yes.
So it's
So
not just you sharing, you're listening back and answering.
every week they're going to have a live Zoom where they can hop
That's
on
really
and get
cool.
their questions, their
That
unique
is
questions
so cool. I
answered.
mean, think about
Yes,
that. You might get 5 minutes in a
every week.
doctor's appointment. I love that. I
Yes,
love
and
that.
they can submit their questions anonymously, but also in the big course they get private consult. So if there's something they want to ask me personally and not in the group Q&A, they can do that as well. So it's really taking them by the hand and showing them step by step. Listen, I know this is overwhelming, but we're going to do a piece at a time. First, we're going to start with the
Hmm.
mindset, then we're going to go into discovering your personal triggers. Because I think a lot of healthcare providers will give you a list of like 100 things to stay away from. But they
Right,
don't know,
right.
and maybe only four trigger your problem.
That's right.
So I want to make it very easy to do in their busy lifestyle.
Now, let's dig in.
Oh, I think I lost my audio for a second. maybe they
I
can hear you.
lost you for a minute. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
you're back.
But yeah, let's talk about this really quick. Now, this starts on Monday. This is your free 5 day
Yes.
challenge for natural healing. What
Yes.
is that all about? Tell us a little bit about that and how
Okay,
can
cool.
people sign up?
Okay, it's a natural healing or heal naturally, whichever way you would like to say it. It's a 5 day challenge. It's free, 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 right? Who doesn't love free? It's this coming Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 Eastern time is the free part. But a lot of people are choosing to level up to VIP because they're like, man, I don't know if I can make Wednesday 12 to 1. So you know what? The replays they get at replay. I'm sorry, the VIPs when they level up, they get replay access to the 5 days. They also get an extra power hour on Zoom with me to ask their personal questions each day for the 5 days. This is a 5 day challenge, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 Eastern time is the freebie, and the VIPs also get 1 to 2 Zoom access on with me to ask their personal questions and give them extra nuggets. We're going to start with some mindset. Each day, I'm going to do a little bit of each of the topics in the big course. So in case they missed Wednesday, then it's not like they missed food pharmacy. So each day is going to have a little bit of nuggets from the big course, and we're going to do go into mindset. We're going to go into what are your discovering your triggers, what aggravates you, what foods, what drinks, what healthier options there are. We're going to go into food pharmacy, how to use food for medicinal purpose in minutes a time. We're going to go into recipes for one pot wonders. We're going to go into these inflammation busters, what foods we can use for natural anti-inflammatories. What can we do about, the women getting older? How can we combat pain? We're going to go into so many topics that I find modern medicine is not enough. We're going to go into those that have problems from the protection or the infection, autoimmune, biohacking, a little bit about biohacking. Why is it so important? How do you do it? And, the basics in layman's terms that they can understand in bite-sized pieces.
Nice.
So
Now, if they
yeah.
want to register,
Oh, they could just go to worldwellnessexpert.com and register for the free 5 day challenge. It's Monday through Friday. Just come the days you can if you can't make them all. If you're like, man, I don't want to miss anything Shayna says, level up to VIP. The average copay is probably about $50 nowadays. So the VIP level up is 47 bucks total. And they get replays to all 5 days. They get an extra
that's
power
great.
hour each day for 5 days, an extra 5 hours live Q&A with me for only
See, that's the
$47.
part I love is the live Q&A because sometimes, and I've done different challenges, but you may have questions specifically that you want to have answered. And if you can go live right while it's on top of mind and get that expertise,
Mm,
that's worth the $47. But the other thing that I really like when I do VIPs is being able to fast forward or
yes,
watch fast, on double speed or whatever. I love
yes,
that because, again, it's only so many hours in the day, but you still want to get that good content. So now this challenge, this is free, correct?
free.
Okay, but then the
It
course is a paid for course. The Get
yes,
Healthy and Happy with
yeah.
Me is paid for, but this 5 day challenge, it's free.
Yeah, so some
Okay.
people might want to catch the live, but they want to also have the replays to listen back to again and again and take notes and do the
But they
calls to
can
action.
upgrade to VIP. Okay,
Yeah,
and then how much
yeah.
is
So while
VIP?
47 total for all 5 days.
That's not
So
bad. That's
so
not
they
bad at
get
all. That's
two
great.
2 hours a
Yeah.
day next week, 10 hours of me for $47. That's a copay where you get like two
It's a
minutes with
lot
the
of
doctor.
energy they're going to be walking away with.
And
Shayna is
yeah, the
definitely
replays.
got some spunk and some energy, but I think in part that comes from
Yeah.
passion. And you've also have had multiple health scares. So I think it may
Yeah.
make you a little bit more appreciative of life and
Yes.
wellness. And, that's something that we've talked about many times where, a lot of times I'll say, I love that. I love that. And some people will say, well, why do you keep saying that? Well, when you've gone through really hard times, you truly appreciate things
Yes.
that feel good and your overall wellness, whether it's mental, physical, or spiritual. And it's incredible to see how you have reinvented yourself even
Oh,
after multiple, and I can't wait till you guys hear more of Shayna's story.
oh my
Maybe we
God,
can
blow
have
your
you on
mind.
another time, but she's had multiple health crises. She has
All
revived
before I
and be
started activating my genes.
yes, yes. But you didn't let it hold you down. And I think that that's
No.
one of the moments of inspiration that can move people to not give up. Because sometimes
Yeah.
when we're in these moments of fear or distress, we can feel like it's never going to end. And I love how your story has transformed not only yourself, but all of these other people that you have come in contact with.
Oh, thank you.
So, with that, I say a great big kudos to you. I think it's absolutely a beautiful
Thank you, Rebecca.
story. And I hope that you guys do go sign up for her free 5 day workshop. It starts Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern, and they can go to www.worldwellnessexpert. Let me pull this up real quick. .com,
Yep.
and she'll walk you through all the steps of getting on track for healthy, happy living. So,
Yeah,
Shayna,
it's going to be a
I
great
do
start for
appreciate you
them.
so much squeezing me in today. You are such
Oh,
an
thank you.
amazing, inspiring woman, and you are a blessing to so many people. I just hope that you keep doing what you're doing because
Thank you.
you have the potential to transform lives where people can start living again, not
Yes.
just existing.
Yes. And that's important. A lot of, especially the older generation, they were taught to listen to their doctor. So they think if, I go to my doctor, he doesn't know what to do. He sends me to the specialist. So a lot of them are starting to give up hope because they're like, I'm at the specialist who specializes in this, and I'm still not getting better. And I tried multiple meds and I'm on multiple meds. But I want you to know that there is other ways that we could still. I want to give you hope and inspiration and motivation and help you transform, that your specialist is not the last resort. Because you know what, some of those specialists are coming to me now. Okay, so if you look where the chefs are going to eat, go to those restaurants. If you look where the doctors are going, go to those places. And so I want to show them that there's hope after you go to the specialist. He's not your last stop on the bus.
I love that. Yeah, it's a story of hope. It's a story of hope.
Yes.
So Shayna, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
I will see you next week. I will be at that challenge. So you guys come sign up. Let's get on track to
Great.
natural, healthy living. And all right, that's all I got for you guys today.
Thanks for
In the
having me.
meantime, be good, be happy, and most definitely be blessed. Bye, guys.